What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black Belt Business Podcast. I'm your host, Eliott Marshall, and it is my goal with each episode of this podcast to share the stories, strategies, tactics, tools, and resources that will help you establish or grow your martial arts school. The Black Belt Business Podcast is brought to you by Easton.Online. You can find all of our digital courses, martial arts curriculums, and resources designed to help you enhance your business at Easton.Online. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Guys, I'm here with maybe one of the people that, it's between you and Gary Gusso, that were like my biggest influences as a child.
Oh.
You know, in this martial arts realm. You and John Hassett, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
You are the story. You are the person that I tell the story about. Do you remember the story?
The story of the garage?
The garage.
Yes.
And how the garage started?
Exactly.
Do you know how the garage started?
I tell the story, you tell the story. Mine's more clear because I'm older.
Go ahead. How do you tell the story?
I tell the story. We were out in Ohio. Well, this is how it all started.
I've never been to Ohio.
Yeah, for the Nationals, Karate Nationals.
It was at Cherry Hill. It was in Cherry Hill.
Was it? I thought it was in Ohio.
No, it was in Cherry Hill.
And you were probably 18 or 17?
18 years old, yeah.
And then you got third. Sorry to hear that. And I got first. And you said you won because you were in the old man's division.
Yeah, I got second, though.
And I said, are you serious? All right, you come over to my garage. We do a little kind of UFC type fighting.
Sit up closer on your microphone.
A little bit, what was it?
I didn't even know. You just said, you come over my garage?
Yeah, come over my garage. And we do, you want to, because I always said to your dad, you want to be show or go.
Right.
Right? We'd fly through there and do all the jet Li crap. And it was good. It was fun, for when we were doing it. And then you came over to the garage. We had like Hector Fortunato, me, and I think Mr. Myers was there and a couple other crazy
The first
people.
time, no. The first time, it was just me, you,
in my garage?
Jimmy, and Paul Gaunt.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time.
And then you came in. Didn't you just get your braces off? I always tell the story like this. I said, yeah, you got your braces off. And then when we got done, your tooth was chipped. Your dad calls me up. And I go, oh, crap. Hey, Mr. Marshall, what's up? My son was at your house tonight? I'm like,
I was still a kid, technically, right? I was like 17 years old.
Well, here's the story. Here's my story. He was getting big for his bridge, or I said something. Right. He goes, he's been getting big for his britches. Like, your dad would say, take out the trash. And you would go, well, let's fight for it, Dad, or something like that, right? So I go, yeah, we got over. But I was already probably a blue belt, I think.
You just got your blue belt.
And I, when you go, what are you doing? I'm just choking you out, arm bar, or whatever I'm doing, right? And you're like, what is that? That's Jiu Jitsu. And then I think you said you were going to go to college in Colorado, and you were a snow skier. I think your families were a lot of skiers.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how I knew them all. I just knew of him, I think. He was a brown belt, maybe.
He was purple.
Was he a purple belt?
Yeah,
I was a blue belt. He was a purple belt. And I said, well, listen. And you got hurt right away. Didn't you hurt your knee skiing
I hurt my
or something?
nose.
And you couldn't ski or something?
No, I don't know.
See, I thought you said you hurt your knee and I can't go skiing. I go, well, go over and see that guy. He does that stuff I do.
No, I found a mall in a mall just walking through it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
this is messing up the stories I told everybody for years.
Years. That's okay. Who cares?
Yeah.
Stories are supposed to be messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking shit, basically. And then you beat my ass.
It was an eye-opener. And I was like,
yeah.
There you go. But it was, because that's what happened to me my first class. I got, Phil Migliarese gave me me and Jimmy our first lesson. We went up to Philly. One of my old karate students' dad was a kung fu guy. So we were in the Bruce Lee and all that stuff, and we go up to Philly on Cherry Street, and there was an old kung fu school. We looked at it. It was like 100 years old. We're like, this is so cool. And then we drove around, and we were leaving. We came down Chestnut, I think it was, and we seen Maxercise.
Right.
We're like, what is that? That's a Jiu Jitsu. So Jimmy, I parked in the street. Jimmy ran up. Fortunato ran up. Yeah, some crazy guy. He's got a messed up beer. Come in for a free lesson. I'm like, let's go up there and beat up some people. So we got a free half-hour lesson. And Phil came down. He was 19, wearing a purple belt. And I'm like, well, where's the instructor? And he goes,
where's the black belt?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I'm a third-degree black belt at the time. And I'm like, I'm 30. I'm like, well, how old are you? He goes, I'm 19. I'm like, what are you going to do? So the first lesson, I guess they all did it, Horion and all. He mounted me. But he mounted Jimmy. Jimmy couldn't get away, and I'm like, oh, I wrestle. This guy ain't gonna do nothing. I get on top, I push him off, belly down arm bar, and I'm like, I was telling Pete last night the story. I was like, man. I said, see, I got away. He goes, no, you didn't get away. I almost broke your arm. And I'm like, you didn't break my arm. Let's do it again. So it's supposed to be like a half hour. We're there like an hour, and he's looking at me going, this guy does not get what I'm doing to him. So I couldn't believe how awesome it was. And then I think I went the next Monday. That was a Saturday. Went on Monday, paid the year in full, and just said, I'm going to do it. Yeah, let's do it. And then a girl beat me up, triangled me. A judo weight was 69, threw me around like a rag doll. Everybody beat me up, and I'm just going, I'm embarrassed here. I got my own karate school. I wrestled 15 years, and I'm like, yeah, man, you know what, Jim, if we never went back, nobody would really know.
We can just pretend this is not true.
Never happened.
We can just pretend that this does not exist.
Dude, and then, but of course, pride, you're going,
right.
How can they learn? I got to learn this.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I loved it.
So you were the one who did that for me. I was like, I got to learn this. I still had one more year in Jersey.
Right.
But like the closest school was Philly.
Right.
And I was in high school. So I couldn't do it. And everyone asks me now, all the kids ask me now, well, why don't you Uber, bro? And you're like, yeah dude. Getting from South Jersey to Philly.
Franklinville.
Franklinville to Philadelphia in 1998 was it was impossible. It couldn't happen.
Exist.
Yeah.
No cabs, no Ubers.
No, nothing. Yeah. So
that's funny.
But like you just said, you started teaching a karate school.
Yep.
What was that experience like for you opening a karate school? And I can remember one of the things was I used to come down to Mays Landing.
Yes.
And then you would drive me back, and we would do the black belt class at Sabanim's, right?
Yeah.
And then my parents would pick me up from Sabanim's. So we did that. That was twice a week. I used to go.
Yeah, I was actually doing construction that it fell through. I forget what year. I was like in the 90s, 90.
Okay.
And then I was helping Sabanim working, give me a couple bucks, but I wasn't making money. I just had my house built, and then I just got fed up with construction and stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna open up a school, and then that's what I did. So I just drove around Mays Landing because we had to be like, I think it was 25 miles from the nearest school, some kind of
Soo Bahk, right.
Soo Bahk Federation thing. So I found a little above a bakery, had no bathroom, one light. So I go up there, me and Martin. Remember Martin?
McGrath. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So
where is he right now? Is he still around?
He's still in Washington Township. I don't talk to him too much, but he helped me out. He helped me hand out flyers.
Okay.
So we're doing this Halloween parade, and then I got 4 people call me up, 2 girls. And the lady of the place I was renting, her and her. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, my God, I don't want to do this. Because it was 4 girls that were giggling, laughing. I'm trying to show them self-defense, like bear hugs from behind. They're like, you're touching me. Don't move it. Oh, she's tickling me. I'm going, oh, my God. This is not like Sabanin school.
Right.
What I'm used to. Like, come on, let's line up. Come on, right?
Everyone, the new people just joined in.
Yeah.
Right? They just join in. They
acted like everybody else.
Right.
But these are my first 4 people, and I'm just going, oh, man. And then I put this, it was kind of like the tattoo we have, right? I put this sign up. One of my friends made me in the building by myself on a ladder, and I'm struggling. I get it up. 2 days later, the zoning board says, you take that down, $100 a day fine. I'm going, I'm out of work, have no money, back on my mortgage. I'm like, credit cards are max.
Are you married with kids at this point?
Oh, yeah. And married, what year was it? No kids, 1991.
Okay.
And it was like November 9th, 1991. And I said, oh, my God. I'm sinking rapidly here. And then Martin actually floated me some money. He goes, hey, look, here's a loan just to eat. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I can ever pay you back. I don't know when I'm going to pay you back. You know, he had money, but it was still the thought. And I'm like, wow, man. So I just hustled and hustled. They threw me out of that building in 1 month. So I had to find another building. The first one I found, and the rent was like whatever it was. And I went back and they added $200 to it. And I thought it was $800. Now it's $1,000. They go, should have took it when we offered it to you. And I'm like, oh my God. So it was an experience. It was a nail biter, but.
And now you don't teach karate at all?
Nope.
Just jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I work at a drug rehab once a week. They don't have any mats, and they don't want to really touchy. So they're real sensitive, and they've been abused, half of them. So I teach Soo Bahk Do actually to them.
Okay.
Just they never get up. I only promoted probably out of 300 people, 1 kid to his orange belt.
Okay.
But I taught them everything, and they're all from New York. All these people are from New York. They're from this one little neighborhood. They're all Jewish.
Okay.
So I go in there, and they're all just they're they're just all crazy people. They're like, we look forward to your class. What do we call you? I say, the great one. Or they call me, every week they call me something different. They're like, do we have to call you master? I go, you do. You have to call me master, you know?
So now you have 2 jiu-jitsu schools.
Yes.
Right?
One in Williamstown, one in Sewell.
In Sewell. So
Yeah.
Sewell was the first one, right?
Yeah, Sewell was my first one.
What was that transition like?
Well, I went from Mays Landing.
Right.
And then that plaza I was in, my landlord came in and said, your lease is up in January. It's a week before Thanksgiving. I said, all right, yeah.
And how many students did you have at this point?
Probably, not too many, like maybe 80, 100.
Okay.
You know, all karate, mostly karate. And they said, you're going to, we're not going to re-sign your lease. And I go, no, I'll re-sign for another couple of years or 5 years, whatever it was. They said, no, we're not doing that because the government bought the building, so you got to get out. I said, well, how long? They go, you got a month. I'm like, what? So I went across the street, found this warehouse, and spent all this time fixing it up, put $15,000 into it, and bathrooms and all this other nonsense. And half my students would stop by and see me, and I'm working all through Christmas and Thanksgiving, and like 40 of them quit. Well, so I said, I'm doing this so you can have a school, and so I got to have a business. And I had a couple black belts teaching for me, but they weren't me, so they were like, well, you're not teaching as much anymore. I go, I'm here because they're throwing us out of there, but nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares, you know. So I was there for a couple of years, sold it to my student. Then I went to Washington Township and said, I want to be closer to my family, and that's it. I just did it, you know.
So what was it like opening a jiu-jitsu school? And what year was this?
Well, I always taught jiu-jitsu at my karate school. The first day, I'm telling you, the first week I got my first lessons in jiu-jitsu by Steve and Phil.
You can't not, right?
You can't not
teach it.
As a matter of fact, I was actually doing good in business money-wise, and I was doing construction helping my father, doing bathrooms and kitchens. Mm-hmm. But we had the old wooden floor, and I said, well, for safety, we should get a mat. For safety. Not for jiu-jitsu, but for safety. So me and my dad took out the window, and I brought this Resolite mat. It was like $5,000, one piece. I had it specially made right through my window, right on the floor. And everybody's like, well, where's the emblem on the floor? And we're going to do forms. I go, safety's first now. But really it was, and then after I started like a black belt leadership club, right. And I said, hey, if you want to do it, I'm going to add in some jiu-jitsu. And by the time people started flowing in, I was a blue belt, a couple stripes, I was getting good. But like I think Chris Holder said back in the 90s, if you were a purple belt, you were a god. Right? So nobody knows, So my students are like, wow, you're great at everything. When I first showed them this, they're like, you're great at jiu-jitsu, you're great at karate. I'm like, man, do not come with me. They wanted to go to Philly with me.
You stay right here. No.
There's no reason for you to go to Philly and see me get beat up by some women or some 15-year-old like Zach Maxwell. He was probably 8 years old. He got on my back one time, this little kid. He's Jimmy's age, so he was 8 or 9. I'm playing with him, and he just like jumps on my back. And I'm like a white belt. And I'm like, he starts strangling me. I'm like, are you kidding me? This 9-year-old, I can't get him off my back. He's got the hooks in. I'm a white belt having a meltdown going. I think I like slammed him against the wall or something. But damn it. He was a yellow belt.
Right.
He wasn't a white belt. So, but they're all great memories, And then when people came in, they would, a couple guys came in from these judo schools. And my nephew.
To your karate school.
Yeah, they come to my karate school.
In Mays Landing still, right?
And I was, now I'm probably a purple belt. And then people started hearing about there's a karate guy doing jiu-jitsu. So these judo guys were like, oh, really? And they're all black belts, judo black belts. So, and they're all, most of them were state troopers. So the one, my nephew trained with me a little bit, this young kid, his friend's dad was a trooper and a black belt in judo. So when he came over his house, the friend came over to my nephew's house and seen a gi. He said, what is that? He goes, you do judo too? And my nephew Jerry says, no, that's my uncle's. I do jiu-jitsu with him. He goes, oh, my dad's a black belt. He could beat up your uncle. And my nephew Jerry's a little nutty. He said, oh, yeah, well, tell him to come over to my uncle's place. So the guy shows up. He's like, yeah, is there John Hassett? That's me. What's up? Hey, you do judo? No, I do jiu-jitsu. Yeah, can I come in and do a randori? I'm like, I don't know what that is. What's that? Oh, wrestle. Or, roll around. Or what do we call it? We just say roll around.
Called open mat, right?
Yeah, open mat, roll around. Never really used randori. So he came
We do
in.
now.
Yeah. We don't do that. I say wrestle. Phil gets upset every time I say it. He goes, it's rolling around. Or I go, you want to wrestle? No, I don't want to wrestle. I'm going to roll around.
If you said wrestle to me, I'd say no.
Yeah.
Because that means we have to do takedowns. And I'm going to sit to the guard because I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah. So He came
You say
over.
wrestle too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler. He's the same age right now where I started jiu-jitsu. He's a third degree right now. I was a no belt at his age right now.
You're a third degree black belt?
Ain't that unfair? That's not fair, right?
Fuck. And you're 30. 31.
That's when I started, 31. Yeah. Man, it's crazy. It just rips by. Like, we had the same father. My dad was 23 years older than me. I'm 23 years older than him. So like Brian Simmons, right? Remember Brian would say, yo, your son's going to be really good and all. And my son Johnny, my oldest son, is like, I'm like, he's 2. You don't even know him.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's going to be good? He goes, no, I seen him wrestle. He's going to be, or, roll around or a tournament or he won something. I go, that's my brother.
That's my brother.
It's your brother? How old's your father? I'm like, he had him late in life, baby. So, but it was, so the trooper came over and, hey, can we do randori? I go, what is that? And they go, can we train? I go, yeah, let's train. I just choked the crap out.
Right.
So he went and told all of his friends, this guy beat me up and blah, blah, blah. And
this is how it was back in the day. This is like how you got
I
students.
love
You
that.
had to beat people up.
Yes.
And now you don't do that anymore.
No, now they get all.
I mean, it's not even necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, now it's already known.
It's already known,
Yeah,
right? But
the cat's out of the bag.
yeah, so but I those days were the best when you would just I can remember when people would come into our school and I'd just be sitting on the wall during intro classes going like, I hope he picks me. I hope he picks me. Fuck this person up, right? Like,
Yeah, I remember. So, and then he brought in this guy, Mark Rowe, and Mark Rowe still trains with me. He's a third degree black belt. He got his black belt with Jimmy. He's been with me probably 20 years. So I have students, which I was telling Peter last night, which is, you can tell you have a good school if you have students for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, because they come, the doors like this.
Right.
But you'll get those people like Peter or you to a mall or a mall to you, and just, man, they're there forever. And that's what I like about it, good group.
Yeah, I mean, for us, that's how we build our school. Like, we've never, I can't say never, but
in the beginning.
Not even the beginning, but, sometimes it happens, but none of our GMs do we hire out. Like, everyone got their black belt from us.
Right.
Because
then they know, they're inside.
They know how to do it.
They're in the inner circle.
When you were making that transition, right, and when you were thinking big for your school, right, like what was that thought process like? What were you, or did you just like wing it?
Mostly winged it.
Because like Sabanim, right? Like, and when we say Sabanim, if you guys want to reference back to the Mike Garaguso podcast, that's how we referred to him as our instructor.
Yeah. Sounds funny when you say Mike, because we never called him that.
I never called him Mike. I think I've never called him Mike in my ever. Only when explaining.
Yeah.
So Sabanim was very business oriented. He became very business oriented. Did you follow in his footsteps there, or?
Well, when we were you joined on Main Street, the school on Main Street.
Who's Sabinim's?
Yeah. Did you join?
No, I joined when he was on the Pike.
All right. So back on the Pike, I was there probably a year after he opened up, and then he had 100 students, but he was very good, yada yada, and
very personable, very charismatic.
Yeah, but he loved. You could tell he loved what he did, and where he came from, I think, where he trained from. His instructor,
Jacoby.
Right. I don't want to say that, but he went out to Vegas to make movies and stuff like this.
Okay.
And like, you think you're good? Well, then you run the school. This is what I kind of heard. You run the school, see how easy it is. Well, when he came back and seen the attendance and everybody liked him because he's so charismatic and like fun and had great classes, 30 in the class, he's got 50, 60.
Right.
And they're like, whoa. So Jacoby gets a little jealous and goes, you think it's so easy? Go open up your own school. Here, go over here in Williamstown. Crapville,
right?
It's not the best of the towns, right? Well, he takes off. He does pretty good. Then he ends up Master Ginyard, right? Bill Ginyard. They were close friends, and it just worked. And he worked. He was a hard worker, but he only had like 100. I don't know, not too many students. Steven Tour, myself, you, Myers,
the Genovas,
every day to Ketty, the people that were there, all the time. But he never went to that next level where I don't know. You can get cable or something. And then Master Southerton, when we joined the Federation, he met him, and he had like 4 schools, 4,000 students, and they're like, "What are you doing that I'm not doing? Come up and visit us in Newburgh, New York, and I'll show you." So we got up there. Me, Hector. Remember Kelly Busby? Mm-hmm. Her son actually used to train me a little bit. We all drove up there. It was like a 4-hour drive. John Garaguso too. And we're like, all right, what are we going to learn? Now, we already know karate. It has nothing to do with karate, how good you are. And Southerton was actually awesome at karate. It was flexible, put his hand, kicks. But so we got up there, and he ran it like a business in his uniform. We called it a dobak, a gi. got in his car. That guy ran around. You couldn't keep up with him. And he would go up to his, you ran to school and bing, 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 bing. And man, by the time we got home, 4-hour drive home, we had all these notes, and he just revamped everything. And I learned, I was just helping out as an instructor and helping the kids' classes. And remember Mr. Alberti? Remember that guy?
Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, Fred Alberti. I don't know whatever happened to him. But
he's brain cancer.
Did he? Did he die? Did he pass away? Yeah, I remember he had Agent Orange, right, from Vietnam. He had those big legs and stuff. But he was the sweetest guy. We did the TOTS program. He said, that's it. Starting tomorrow, this is what we're doing. And he did it. And then all of a sudden he got up to, I remember he was up to like almost 600 students. It's like 580 students or something. I'm like, man, in a little crap town in Williamston.
Right.
So I took a lot of things I learned, and then hearing him talking. But it takes guts to stop everything you're doing and revamp it to make it better.
Especially when you were surviving.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, if I do this, what happens if it don't work out?
Right.
What happens if people don't want to do this? But he was pretty. Really
So do you run the jiu-jitsu schools like that? Like.
Yeah, I run it like a business, because
Right.
if you don't treat it like a business, usually you'll be out of business.
Right.
So because people want to come in there and they want a tournament or something, and they want free. I got, listen, you can't. I got to pay rent. I got to pay employees. So I give a free month. So if if you see the value, good. If you don't, you get a T-shirt. Have a nice day.
Okay.
I don't make a big deal out of it because some people don't like it. Some people don't like me. Some people don't like you. They go to another school. Whatever. And I go, as long as you're training jiu-jitsu, it's cool. But what are you going to do?
So you opened a second location.
I opened a second in Williamstown. I was going to do it in Sabinen's old school, the old school we trained at. And
On Main Street.
On Main Street. Sabinen still owned it, moved over to his new location, and had that vacant building for wrestling. And he said, hey, why don't we put a jiu-jitsu school in there? So everybody got the mats. I said, all right, I'll do it. And then as I was setting up, and he's like, change his mind or something. I was just like, what? And then that's when the things started getting tight. I forget what year it was. It was like 10. And I was just like, well, why don't we do that? It ain't going to affect your karate business whatsoever. And it was just kind of like a little bit, I think he had some health problems and this problems and that problems, life. And so I just opened up a little school down the street. Put one of my, he was a purple belt. Actually, one of the guys was working for me. I said, I got great news. You don't have to work here anymore. I got your own place. You can run it. Life is good, baby. Open it. You do, you know how to run it. This guy, Jeff Jones. I said, you can run it. You can, but we'll do it the same way.
What was that like, having two locations? Like going from 1 to 2?
Well, it was tricky because before I even opened a second one, and I already signed the lease for this guy, Jeff, and I was going to surprise him, go, all right, you're in.
Right.
Like, I just do things, right?
Okay.
And he goes, oh, can I talk to you, Mr. Hassett? I said, well, let me tell you something first. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. One of those deals. So I tell him, got to school, you're going to run it. You don't have to be here, do whatever, blah, 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 blah. Great purple belt, basics, good with the kids, and real good, all-around good guy. And I goes, yeah, what are you going to tell me? Yeah, I'm giving you my 2 weeks' notice. I'm moving to I'm moving to Yardley, Pennsylvania. I'm getting married. And I'm going, good. So anyhow, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go over here. He's like, I'm serious. And I go, oh, okay. And we have a saying in my life. It's called getting Hassetted.
Okay.
So when something goes wrong, you go, I just got Hassetted. So I have people go, I got Hassetted today. What's that? I got 4 flat tires or whatever, right? So I go, oh, all right. How are we going to fix this? I go, who do I know? And he's in school or doing what he's doing. I go, who do I know that I needed one person that loves jiu-jitsu. I don't care anything, if you're good, if you're who loves jiu-jitsu. So we both said at the same time, this guy, his dad's a doctor, and he was one of my private guys. JP Cavalieri, John Paul. And I said, John, or JP. He's like, yeah. And because he loved jiu-jitsu, did privates twice a week, and now he's still working for me. It's like 12 years later.
Right.
Still loves it.
Still runs that school.
Still runs that school.
And are you at the Sewell school?
I never go over there. Once in a while. I mean,
You never go over to Williamstown?
Never. I let him do his own thing. And my good friend Tom Marino, he helps him. He's a retired police officer, black belt also. So JP's like a second degree. Tom's a first degree. They run the whole program.
Do you do joint promotions and things like? Okay.
So I go over there and do every 3 months. We have promotions. We have the kids promotions in Williamstown, and you're allowed to. I was talking to Peter last night. You can switch schools.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Go wherever,
it's the same. It's my school anyhow.
Sure.
So it always works out, and people come Saturday, open mat to our school. But it's weird. People like the way JP teaches. People like the way, if you said, I'm always teaching and you were teaching, you'd have guys go here and guys go here.
Right.
Just I like the way you explain it better. Or,
Sure.
You know.
Do you still teach a lot?
I teach every class.
Every class.
Except the kids class.
Okay.
The kids, man.
It's okay.
Oh, man. I don't hate them, but I don't want to be a babysitter. I want to teach what I'm teaching.
Right.
And you're ever, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this.
So the kids has to be super structured.
Right.
I mean, like, so our all of our stuff is structured, but like I get a big say in what it like.
Right.
So,
exactly.
But the kids, yeah, it's like, okay, boom, games, right? Like,
Right.
You know, different.
Well, I have my son. My son Johnny's a brown belt. He's
Okay.
23. He's real good. He teaches the kids, and he's a smaller guy. He's like 140. So
Right.
you know, all the kids love him, and I'm like, thank God.
When you think back, you know, over all the years, you know, what that was, 97
Right.
when you opened
Right.
your first karate school.
91 is karate. Yeah.
Okay, 91. What would you do differently?
Differently, business, I'd be a little bit more organized, I think.
Where were
know.
you unorganized?
Well, I didn't really, you know, back then, I didn't even have a credit card machine. Everybody's like paying cash. You know, now today, nobody pays cash.
Please don't give me cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just a pain in my ass,
Yeah,
right?
Like, no, they look at me and I go, all right, you know, a T-shirt, it's $10. They go, all right, and they give me a debit card. I'm like, you don't have $10 on you? But nobody does cash anymore. I
Right.
mean, literally zero cash. You know, so now, just lately I started doing like, you know, Zen Planner because my school's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, you know, maybe not super big, not as big as you guys, but it's just me and my son at my school and then JP at the other school.
Are they both on Zen Planner?
Yep, and they're both connected and both take attendance.
Right.
So, and I'm like, I don't even want to be tech savvy. Like, you know, I use my phone. That's about it.
Yeah, I know. When I called you to do a podcast, you're like, actually, I'm coming out to Denver, and I don't know how to use Zoom. And I was like, bro, it's post-COVID. How do you not know how to use Zoom?
Actually, we did Zoom for, but I have a guy, real good guy, Jason Kinner.
But you didn't do it.
Well, he set it all up.
Right. You just showed up.
I just showed up, and I went, what do you want me to do? They go, show a move.
All right.
And then people would, you know,
I was like, how do you not know? All you got to do is hit a button on your computer, man.
Well,
what do you mean?
Put it all together. I'm just,
Right.
I don't, you know what it is? I could do anything. I could be great at anything I want to do, but I just don't want to do it. I just go, I don't care.
My wife gets mad at me for this.
Why you say
Because
something?
I have no interest in doing anything outside of what I want to do. This is all, like, you know, and whatever it is that I want to do, I'm going to figure out how to be great at it.
That's right.
And she gets mad. She's like, all you do is sit up in that damn office and talk to yourself all morning. And then I go teach afterwards, right? I'll teach all day afterwards.
Right.
And I'm like, and she's like, that money, blah, doesn't make any money. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, you just wait.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to figure out how to make all of this make money. And then the second I do, I'm going to pay someone else to do it. So we get a little bit. And then I'm going to go figure something else out.
Right.
Right? Like, I am uninterested in doing what I don't want to do.
That's the way I think 100%.
Yeah.
I go, why would you want to, like somebody asked me, I go, ZFG, right?
Right.
I go, I don't care. They go, you don't know how to plug that in? I go, no, I don't care.
Right.
And they go, well, then you can't do the podcast. I go, then I won't do it. I don't care. You know, I love Jiu Jitsu. I study Jiu Jitsu all the time. Like I seen, I don't know if it was a video or podcast or something you were talking, and you go, yeah, I only teach John Danaher stuff. And I go, interesting. You know what I mean? Because I do that too. But he must have sold 50 million videos. Everybody bought them. So I was wrestling this one guy. I was up in Philly at a promotion. We were just doing open mat or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was doing this when the leg locks came out. So I was doing this backstep leg lock thing. And the guy goes, oh, you got the John Danaher leg lock system. And I go, how do you know? He goes, oh, because I have it too. And I go, well, I just did the same move to you 6 times. Do you watch the videos? And he's like, well, yeah, but not a lot. And I go, well, there's the difference.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I study. You just watch. You know, I watch. I study.
I study. Yeah,
Different.
there's a big difference.
And I think John Danaher knows that. I think he knows, wow, why would we let the secret out? Because he knows, you know, like Salo said, everybody wants to be a champion, but not everybody wants to do what it takes to become a champion. I'll let you have my secrets. There you go. You're not going to do it.
Right.
You're not going to do 5 million push-ups a day and run 18 miles like the David Godwin guy. You're not going to do that. I'll tell you everything I'm doing. You're not doing it because you ain't got it.
You don't got it.
That's right.
It's so interesting because, and people still aren't.
Nope.
It's crazy.
And they buy the next one coming out. And the next one, they go, I got the whole collection. I go, well, show me something. Teach me something.
And you know, I could understand it a little bit with like the leg. I don't understand it. It's not my style.
Right.
But like the leg locks was a totally different thing.
Right.
But the back system. The back system is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's still quote unquote traditional jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And like you watch, you know, the former DDS.
Right.
smash people with it, you know?
Yes.
And you're like, how did you not?
How did
like,
you know
it's
that?
right there. That's in the first 10 minutes.
It reminds me of Chris Holter again. It's like, it beat you up. The only reason you beat me up is I didn't know jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Now I do. Now you're not beating me up.
Right.
It's the same thing. And you go, wait a minute. I know everything that on those DVDs. I know every move. Right on the back. You know every move. But if you didn't put it together and understand how it really kind of puts, like, that's his genius. That's the way he and some people don't even like him. They go, I can't watch him. I fall asleep. And I go, you're an idiot. You don't see genius when you see it. You're not a genius.
He is difficult to listen to.
Yeah.
He's difficult to be around.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fucking matter. It works.
I'm not married.
I don't care.
Yeah. So I bought the DVDs. I'm not dating him.
Yeah.
Like somebody goes, hey, would you like to meet John Danner? I said, yeah, but
They wouldn't.
I might be disappointed.
You're going to be very disappointed.
Right? I go, yo, hey, I got your DVD.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He does not care.
Yeah. Which is good, though. I like that.
It's fine.
Because he's him.
Yeah.
He wears a rash guard. He don't care what you think.
Does not
He's
care.
got his fanny pack. He's ready to go. He's
been wearing the fanny pack since fanny packs were cool, went out of style, and then came back into style. He does not give a fuck.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But this is, I think your story, John, and like how you've gone through martial arts is an obsession.
Yeah.
Like you've just been obsessed. I can you were obsessed with karate.
Yeah.
And then you got obsessed with jiu-jitsu.
Well,
It's just a love affair of obsession.
One of my guys, Jason Kinner, helps me teach every class. He's like my IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
We go hiking. He's a hiker with me. We like do the Appalachian Trail and stuff. But he goes, I mess it up all the time. So I have to look at him and go, what's that say? Obsessed is a word used by the lazy to describe the dedicated.
Right.
Right. I don't know who really said that, And I went, that's so true. Because you're just obsessed. I go, no, Eliott, you train twice a month. You want to be as good as me, and you train twice as much, so you call me obsessed. Even though I may be obsessed, but I'm
right.
But name somebody great.
That's not obsessed.
Michael Jordan, Martin Luther, anybody.
Right.
And you go, they don't dabble. They don't go twice a week. They're obsessed. And that's how they lose the 100 pounds. David Goggins, he's obsessed. Yeah. That's why he's 100 pounds lighter than whatever he is.
It takes an obsession. If you really want it, it takes an obsession.
Yeah.
So, what was your biggest obstacle through this whole time of running martial arts schools? Like, what was the most difficult part?
It was always a grind. I always go hustle and grind. I don't know. I think is when I was saying to Peter last night, I said, man, you got this guy. Oh, this guy's good. Or that girl. There's a young girl, purple belt.
Emma.
Yeah, she wins all the medals. She's really good. I go, not to jinx you, but I go, that girl there quits. And you go, are you kidding me? It's when me and JP, I always told JP this, the guy who teaches for him, I go, the biggest pet peeve I have is begging people to train. I don't care if you stink at jiu-jitsu, but you go, wow, the Billy keeps beating me up. I go, well, train a little bit more. I can't, because, begging people to train or calling them up. How many times I got to call you? Yo, where you been? I'm going through a rough time. What's the rough time? My dog died. That was 3 months ago, dude. I love dogs too, but let's move on. Come on. Let's dude, nobody cares. Just train more. Like I have a shirt. Did I give you a shirt?
Yeah.
What color was it?
Black.
Black. All right, I got a gray one for you. You'll like it. It says, "Shut up. Nobody cares. Train more." Like nobody cares. But you're crying that you didn't win the belt or the medal or whatever, but you're the crybaby. Look at all the fighters. Everybody goes through something. If you listen to every fighter when you were in the house, right?
Yeah.
And you hear all those little interviews, even if they're half true, every one of them's living in a car. Somebody broke out with them. Somebody died. So there's always hardship. And there's two people: the ones that give up on it, or the ones that go, "I'm gonna make it." I'm gonna make it.
I'm gonna. You guys might make fun of me here.
Not really.
I love the Peloton.
Yeah, my daughter has one.
I love it, bro. And my favorite rider is Jess King, and everyone thinks she's my favorite rider because she's got big boobs and she puts them out. It's not why she's not my favorite instructor. That's why I chose her the first time,
right?
For sure, right? Because like you're trying to, all right,
yeah.
But literally, her it's what she says, and I can remember the first time I was riding, and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like if you know, I'm not good.
My daughter and her boyfriend has one, and I never went on it, but she goes, Dad, I can. And he teaches fitness. He has a fitness. He goes, dude, that thing is like tough.
So anyway, and I'm not a bike rider. I'm a big dude.
Right.
So I'm on it the first time I'm doing it, and I'm getting ready to turn that resistance down.
Right.
I'm just about ready to. I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And she stops on her bike, and she looks at the screen.
Live? Is she live?
No, it could be, but this wasn't live.
Right.
It was on demand. And she looks at her screen, and she goes, but what if you fucking had to? Oh. And I was like, oh God! And I'm like, okay, you know. So
a zombie's chasing.
Yeah. So that's why I love her. And I was riding the other day, and she goes, look, everyone has a situation.
Right.
Everyone has one.
I have them all the time.
We have them all the time. It's, you know. So what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Turn it down a little bit. I turn it up.
Turn it up. Yeah.
My wife would say, "Why do you take more on or do that?" And I go, "Because I can."
Yeah.
I say this all the time. It's no matter what. I always go like this. I'm a black belt. I say two things. I go. It means not.
Oh my God, my kids! I'm going to make my kids listen to this.
Right?
Go.
This is so like if I'm doing something, I'm hiking with this guy Kinner, right? So I did study. It's a 100-mile wilderness. We're going to do it in 10 days. No big deal. We hike 60, 20, 30 miles. I'm a hiker. I could do it, right? So we get there. We start hiking. We're like 10 miles in. I'm like, wow, I got a 40-pound pack on my back. Starts raining. I'm like, all right, before you went up there, don't be a wuss. You're going to grind through. You're a freaking black belt. Jiu-Jitsu has nothing to do with the walking this trail. But I say in my mind, really? You don't have a 300-pound guy mount at you with an Ezekiel choke on your windpipe right now. Shut up. So, but man, you get into the thick of it. Now you're 50 miles in. There's no return, right? And I'm like, so I sat down and like I'm faking, I'm crying. I'm like, that's it. I quit. I'm done. I ain't go. So he walks. He's one of my black. He walks by and goes, okay. It just left me there. And I'm going, I got to get up. I got to go. Like, shut up. Just grind it out. Just grind it out. So everything I think in my whole life is like, I do it the hardest way you could possibly do it. I outwork stupid. I don't know. I just go, just grind it, just grind it, just grind it. And I always think of that too, what that lady said. What happens if I just wrestled all night and I'm dying and my leg hurts, I twist my knee, my back hurts, I got 47 things, somebody breaks in your house. Now there's the wife and kid. Kill them first, kill me last. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to get up and go kill somebody, right? You know, so... Or you're going to get killed, one or the other. But I have that mentality too. I like that. That's the way I am.
Whenever my kids say, "Dad, how'd you know how to do that?" Or Dad, I was like, "Look, I'm a black belt."
Yes.
Like that. Like it's so much more than jiu-jitsu.
Or
I'm a fucking black.
My second one is, I don't know if I could. You're a Hassett. Start acting like one. They never even asked me what that means, and it means nothing, right? Because you just say, "I'm a marshal."
Right. You're
a marshal. Go act like one. What's that? Marshals don't give up. Like whatever. They don't even know what that. But if you brainwash them when they're younger, and then they're like, why'd you make the Olympic team? I'm a marshal. And the guy's like, what's that mean? I don't know. I don't know. I never asked.
That's what my dad said.
That's what my dad said. Shut up. You're a marshal. Act like it. Like you see on Game of Thrones or something. You're like, you're a Lannister or whatever the heck they are, right? And you're like, that's right. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I try to think of that when we're doing 3-man positions and the guy's on your back and your windpipe's getting crushed and I'm like, stop your whine. Just get out. You know how to get out. You've been like Shoney Carter. I watched him when he was on the show one time, right? I'm like, not a big fan. I don't know who he is. And then I seen him coaching when they were live fighting. And I'm like, that guy's a good coach. He goes, you've been here before. That was his saying. You've been here before, man. You know what to do. Somebody's on your back. You've been here before.
Yeah.
And you go, oh. I like it. I use that one a lot, too. So.
Man, thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's like we were saying, I don't know, when's the last time we saw each other, like, in person? At least a decade.
I can't remember. The last time I remember is that tournament that was a brown belt.
Yeah. Pans at some point.
I know. We were just saying, who do you wrestle?
Oh, Ricky McCauley.
No. That was a Pan Am's.
That was Pans. I was Pans at purple. No, Pans at brown that I wrestled at. But that was 06 when McCauley and I went.
Oh, Glover. What was it? Who do you wrestle?
That was Nick Diaz. Did you wrestle Nick Diaz? Was the absolute?
That was purple belt.
No, but Glover.
Glover's the chair.
Yeah. You wrestled him.
That was yeah.
It wasn't it. And I wrestled. What's his name? Sean Williams beat me up. He got lucky.
But man,
thanks for having me.
Thanks for you. Yeah, like I said, you and Garaguso, you were like the people that kept me in it. Like throughout my childhood.
Well, last quick story. Your dad was. I remember we had that door, and you were like, I don't want to, whatever, throwing it. But you were 6, right? And your dad literally threw you on the floor, closed the door, and I go, I like that guy. So I like that guy.
You were there for that class.
I was there. He threw you in. I don't know if it was a TOTS class or a kids class.
No, there was no TOTS class. That was when Garaguso was at, in my opinion, like one of his heydays, because he'd have all belts, all kids,
right,
in the class.
Just a free for
all. And he crushed it.
Yeah.
But that was my dad. He just threw me in. He walked out.
Good man, that Mr. Marshall.
My parents got a couple things right.
Yeah.
They got a couple things right with me.
It's awesome.
So
you turned out pretty good.
I got I had great parents. I had great people in my life that at very important times, at very important times, like that day, I can remember your garage.
Right.
That was an important time.
That's good.
That
little thing, that little.
I remember that night.
That's awesome.
So I had great people in my life at very important times that in those moments when you could be going here or going there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I could have come to college and then who knows what would have happened. But I came to college and I had this thing that more than college that I was pointing at. So it nudged me.
Yeah, but I see you pay it forward too. So that's hopefully that you pay it forward and give it to the next guy, and then your kids, your students, your GMs and stuff. That's the next group coming up.
That's the goal, right? Martial arts changed my life. So
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me,
John. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys. That's it with Easton.Online. This is John Hassett. Go check him out. Hassett Jiu Jitsu. It's all over the internet, and where you say your son does the Facebook and the Instagram, so don't even try to talk to him.
Yeah, I won't get back to you.
Guys, go to our website, Easton.Online, where we have a ton of information for you. We have all of our webinars that we put out on sales, appointment setting, closing sales, a whole host of things, culture and core values. And then you can just follow our journey. And if you want some help, we are always doing free consults with me. And so, Easton.Online, you can get all of that information there. So that is it for this episode, and we'll see you soon.